Creed, yeah, Creed, Creed, yeah, Creed, yeah, Creed is the greatest band ever. Creed, yeah, Creed, yeah, Creed, yeah, Creed, yeah, Creed, yeah, Creed, yeah, Creed, yeah.
The fuck was that?
I was just making a song about the greatest band ever, as the title states. It's a song called Creed, yeah. It's about Creed, best band of all time.
Can't fault you there. Actually, that's a true statement.
This is true. It's just scientifically accurate.
Yeah, or as I should say, Creed, yeah.
Creed, yeah, indeed.
All right, everybody, welcome to episode 41 of Bonus Features with Alex and Robert. I'm Robert.
And I'm gonna
Scott Stapp.
No, I was gonna say I'm gonna take you higher.
And I just heard the news today.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
we hope that you're ready to take on this podcast with arms wide open.
What if
we
start talking about sports?
And we're going to start doing these pointless interludes of sports a bit differently now. We're actually going to try and keep them under 2 minutes. So here's the speed round of sports. The Israel Adesanya Anderson Silva fight was it was all right. Adesanya won. Looking forward to Woodley Usman. Michael Van Page, Paul Daly. That fight sucked. It was real boring. Paul Daly threw almost no punches in the first round. Bears got a new kicker. Hawks are kicking ass. We're going to get that wild card. You got anything for sports?
Baseball starting soon.
Okay, baseball is not starting soon. It's still 2 months away.
Yes.
Okay, so anything else? Bulls still eating
Bulls suck.
All right, so that'll do it for sports. And now, on to news. So we start off with a big announcement from Marvel. They've announced their slate of adult-oriented animated series that will be on Hulu. These include Howard the Duck, MODOK, Tigra and Dazzler, that's one show, Tigra and Dazzler, it's a duo, and Hit Monkey. And then once they do all 4 of these shows individually, they will team up together to make the team called the Offenders. You know, get it? Like Defenders, Offenders, yak, yak, yak. Anyway.
A little bit more information on these shows. MODOK is going to be executive produced by Patton Oswalt. It's also pretty much all but confirmed that Patton Oswalt will be voicing MODOK. Jordan Blum, who is known for his work on American Dad as a story editor, is also working on that.
Is it Jordan?
Yeah.
Okay, good, because I totally accidentally wrote down Jason Blum.
Well, if Jason Blum was producing this, that'd make it a Blumhouse picture.
No, see, that's what happened is I wrote it down and I said, shit, I hope he catches that. And you did. Good job.
Good job, young Jamie. Hit Monkey is going to be written and executive produced by Josh Gordon and Will Speck. They worked on Office Christmas Party, and they've also co-directed Blades of Glory as well. Tigra and Dazzler is coming from Erica Rivenoja, or Rivenoa, I don't know how you pronounce it, and Chelsea Handler. They're working on it. I'm assuming maybe Chelsea Handler will be voicing one of these characters, but it's too early to tell. And then finally, what was the one I missed?
Howard the Duck?
Howard the Duck. That's going to involve Kevin Smith in his, I think his... what do you call it? Universe people. He's going to be involved with it. What do you think about these?
Yo, hold up. You forgot who else is involved.
Oh, Dave Willis.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Of course.
Because Kevin Smith, let's just start with Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
So, of all the show, this whole idea, well, okay, we'll start with the generalities, then we'll move to Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
So this whole thing...
Very weird.
Kind of came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's also weird, as you pointed out, or at least you were talking about this earlier, that they're releasing this slate of shows on Hulu when right around the horizon is Disney Plus.
Yes.
But I just thought of something right now that makes this make sense that it's going to Hulu. It's because it's like adult theme, so I'm imagining this is probably like South Park-ish, Simpsons. I don't know.
Adult Swimmy.
Yeah, I would say Adult Swimmy. I don't know if they're going to be as as outrageous as South Park, maybe. But yeah, so maybe that's why it's not going to Disney Plus, because Disney Plus is probably more family oriented. I would guess.
Perhaps. Maybe it doesn't fit under the Marvel label that they're going to be having under there. Because remember, they have those hubs where it's like Nat Geo, Star Wars, Marvel. Would this fit under the Marvel programming? I don't know for them. But this also comes at a very weird time because Disney also just canceled Jessica Jones and Punisher.
Right. So what? Okay. I think that's more. They're just kind of. I guess it's just like an all or nothing deal with the Netflix shows, though. Because you can't just have a Daredevil show, because they've established... Yeah, you know what you can do? You can cut these out from the movie MCU, because they don't really have any effect. But these at least all have to do with each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I feel like these are also properties they don't give a shit about, Marvel, Disney being. Any of these characters, I don't really see a future for them in MCU, even including the fact that Howard the Duck had a cameo in Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
Oh, you're talking about back to these...
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly disagree with you on MODOK.
You don't think you think they might have used him for the future?
For sure.
I would have liked
MODOK
to.
could have been like... MODOK's up there, man, with like big bads. Like he could be like a Kang or Red Skull or someone. I don't know.
Yeah,
I actually disagree with you on MODOK.
However,
I can also, I guess there's so many characters that some are just going to meet the chopping block, and I guess their deal with MODOK is, well, we might as well do something with them.
Right, and I think at the end of the day they just didn't care about.
Well,
most of these.
They definitely probably didn't care about Dazzler.
Yeah,
okay,
Dazzler and Tigra.
Well.
Which is sad because Tiger's cool.
Yeah, sorry, it's called Tigra and Dazzler.
Yeah,
and Tigra is rightly billed first because Dazzler sucks ass.
Yeah.
Is the worst fucking X-Men character ever, and I hate her. She's almost as shitty as X-Man.
Oh yeah.
I don't even remember. It's like, it's Jean Grey and Scott Summers' other son from a different dimension or some shit like that.
God.
He sucked. He's the worst.
Yeah.
I'd say he's the worst, and so sorry. I just get so heated. Dazzler's the worst. She's a disco ball. That's her powers.
Yeah.
Like everyone else's powers are at least kind of the idea to make it a cool comic is like they have to do with fighting and shit. Like, oh, I'm Iceman. I can shoot ice at you. I'm Jean Grey. I can make things get thrown at you. I can light things up like a disco ball. It's like, what is this shit?
I mean, I guess it helps that this is a comedy.
No, I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, no,
I hate Dazzler.
Oh,
she sucks.
Believe you me, that's not a hot take. Dazzler blows.
Yeah.
Like, no one likes Dazzler.
Right? She's pretty universally hated.
She's a panned character, that's for sure. And that's why I think, again, that's why I go back to my point, which is like, I don't think Marvel really cares. Also, these are animated shows, so they're nowhere near as much of an investment as like the shit they were doing with Daredevil and the Defenders universe. So
yeah,
I feel like this is, it comes at a weird time, but considering the properties that they are, this isn't like fucking, it wouldn't take like Wolverine and and Deadpool and put them on Hulu or anything like that. But yeah, I don't think I thinking about it more, it's like, all right, this comes at a weird time, but I don't necessarily think it's that weird of a move. There's really only one of these shows that I'm interested in, maybe two.
Let's see. Well, okay, so let's start with Howard the Duck. So right off the bat, of these, to make an adult animated wacky comedy show, Howard the Duck kind of seems like the most obvious.
Yes.
It almost seems like he works better in this type of arena rather than a full-length movie.
And especially live action.
What am I talking about? Of course it does. Well, after the last time they tried it. I mean, I guess that's kind of unfair because the Matt Salinger Captain America wasn't all that.
That's true, but...
Okay, but my point remains, I think Howard the Duck, I mean, he is a cartoon. Like, yes, all these drawings, these comics technically start as cartoons, but I mean, like, he's a funny
He's the Spider-Ham to this universe. He's the cartoon character in the world of, they're cartoons, but this is a cartoon.
He's like a cartoony cartoon, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like exaggerated anthropomorphic animals and all that bullshit, and like weird big heads and shit like that. Like,
right.
He's meant for this. So that I'm not really having a hard time buying or understanding. And it's weird, I haven't read like a lot of his shit, or really any of that I can think of. Like, I don't know, maybe like a couple issues back in the day. Are his comics like dirty or no? Because I know he had a Max series for a while.
Yeah,
you remember that shit?
Yeah, a little bit. They're not too.
I guess with Punisher it was like even more bloody. It's like a little redundant. Hey, whatever.
Yeah, he's not. He's pretty blue. He can be, from what I remember. I haven't read a lot either, though.
See, that's what I was thinking. So I guess this this seems like right up the character's alley.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And the fact that we've got Dave Willis. Voice of Meatwad.
Yeah.
Creator of Aqua Teen Hunger Force working on this. That excites me probably the most about this project.
Yeah, that one's the most intriguing for me. That's for sure. The pairing of him and Kevin Smith is very interesting. Right.
Well, Kevin Smith I can kind of take or leave. It depends on the project. Like, I'm that way with his comics, too. Like, there's some that I'm really not a fan of, and then, like, the Onomatopoeia arc of Green Arrow is like one of the best comics I've ever read.
Right.
So he's kind of all like I don't know. Depends on what it is for him. Dave Willis, I'm pretty much trusting. So Howard the Duck's cool. Then what do we got?
MODOK or
Hit Monkey. This is one I'm really not that interested in. I know Hit Monkey from the Daniel Way Deadpool run. I don't know. It's like it's like it could be funny. I don't really. These executive producers, writers, what are their names?
Josh Gordon and Will Speck.
Yeah, since I wasn't a big fan, I've seen like bits and pieces of Office Christmas Party. It didn't look good to me. I don't know.
It's not a particularly like.
It's just so. Yeah, it's just whatever.
Fine. Yeah.
I like Blades of Glory though.
Blades of Glory's good.
Yeah. I don't really think that their being attached to this makes me feel one way or the other about it. It's more the character at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm not really that big of a fan of the character because the Daniel Way Deadpool stuff, I read a bunch of it and I thought it was just all right.
As for MODOK, though, that's probably the other one in addition to the Howard the Duck show that I'm kind of looking forward to, where it's like, even though I don't get it, I'm like, I don't get this as a show. He's a villain. I don't know about making him comedic.
Yeah, isn't the premise like... Isn't it something like has a family and some shit like that?
Something like... Yeah, he's got to struggle to maintain control of his evil organization and his demanding family.
Yeah.
That sort of dynamic is weird, and just knowing what MODOK is in the comics and in comparison to this is very odd.
I know they're kind of pulling a Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And I kind of don't like that shit.
But the Patton Oswalt and Jordan Blum, who's been an alum and has written, or is a story editor, has been one on American Dad for like literally almost 100 episodes. It's like, this could be good.
See, that's
I trust the both of them as
right.
comedic people for the most part.
That's the thing. I think their involvement is a plus here.
Yeah.
Where with Hitmonkey, I'm not really a big fan of the character. I'm not really a big fan one way or the other of Will's. What are their names?
Josh Gordon and Will Speck.
Josh Gordon and Will Speck. Not really a fan either way.
And then the Tiger and Dazzler is like a double negative in a way.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not a big fan of, the premise of the show I'm not really in on, and I'm just not a Chelsea Handler person.
No, neither am I. The other writer, she's kind of like take her leave, like she's done some stuff.
She's done South Park. She did Grounded for Life, which is an old show.
Hey man, that was an underrated show.
I like that show. So, good shout out there for Erica Rivenoja.
Yeah, I don't know though. One of the things that I don't like about this is how arbitrary it seems. Because, for instance, do you remember they still do this every now and then. You know how there will be like a mini series where it's like Captain America and Wolverine. And there's some parallels where you can understand how their paths would meet. They're both part of like two of the bigger teams.
Right.
Like, Wolverine's, Jesus Christ, bang on the arrow. He's an X-Man.
Right.
And then Captain America's an Avenger. And it's like, there's some reason their paths would cross.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
both way older than everyone.
Right, right.
There's some issues that I don't know if this is canon or not, or any of that bullshit that say that they met each other in World War II.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why those two would meet.
Right.
Or like there's a Wolverine Iron Fist. They're both martial artists. Like, good enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like something.
Right.
And, some of those mini-series things, like limited series, they work. Some of them don't.
This doesn't make sense.
This doesn't make sense to me because they have zero, like, as far as I know, I found one issue, and it was just some one shot. Mm-hmm. Marvel ladies, and it was just Tigra, Black Widow, and Dazzler, and it was just, let's throw a few of the characters together.
Right.
For a one shot, not even a limited series. Outside of that, I can't even think of any, like, comics, and I couldn't find anything when I searched for it, where these two cross paths, and were really, like, I don't know, friends or any shit, or had anything in common.
It's a very weird pull, and it's the one I'm worried about the most. Because
Yeah.
I feel like Hit Monkey is a show where it's like, this is like, it's about an assassin monkey in Japan.
Yeah.
And it's like,
that sounds kind of funny.
yeah, like that's a show.
It's just not a character I like, but I could see someone making that good.
Right. Whereas Tigra and Dazzler is a show that I feel like that rests solely on the fact that they're comic book characters.
Yeah.
There's not much to that character that's loaded, where it's like, oh, Hit Monkey. It's like, it's about a monkey that's an assassin in Japan. It's like, oh, okay, that's a show. Whereas like Dazzler and Tigra,
what's their plot? It's just they're superheroes in L.A.
Yeah. Bottom line is, this is very weird. It comes at a very weird time. We're not sure about all these. Some of them sound good, but it's just very, very, very weird. And we're going to have to wait to hear more before...
Some of them have already screened, apparently, like test screening shit.
That's so weird.
I think Kevin Smith was saying he saw some of it for, I think, Hit Monkey.
Okay. Neat.
And for, I don't know what the other ones were.
MODOK and Howard the Duck.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, man. This is so weird, but...
Tiger and Dazzler, it's like...
What a weird...
What in the hell? Where's the pull there? Even with something like Silver Sable and Black Cat, like... when that movie was in development, they're both Spider-Man. So again, it's one of those things, there's at least that small connection where something makes sense. I almost just wish it was just Tigra.
How about we get an Aunt May and She-Hulk show?
Aunt May and She-Hulk. Yeah, while we're just throwing two random characters together. How about Mickey Mouse and Mickey Rourke?
Oh, man. Mickey, you gotta get off the coke, huh?
I'll finish what I want to.
I was in The Wrestler.
Love Mickey as Marv, though.
Yeah, kills it as Marv.
That's his iconic role in my eyes. He's fucking born to play him.
Honestly, that's who I think that's just because I'm, like, us young folk, like, that's who Mickey Rourke is to us. So the bottom line about these Marvel shows is Mickey Rourke was pretty good in Diner and is really good in Sin City.
And The Wrestler.
And The Wrestler. He's really good in that. No, but for realsies, these shows, what the fuck? They're kind of random. I agree with you. It sort of seems like they took the people who gives a shit, take these characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wonder Man and Tiger would have made more sense.
Yeah, that would have.
Yeah, because, they're both part of the West Coast Avengers. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or what's her name? The one Spider-Woman with the like, sort of Venom-looking costume.
Oh, yeah.
Why the hell didn't they choose her?
Yeah, I don't know.
That would have made a lot more sense. But, I don't know. Based on the slate alone, I don't think making sense was in the cards. So they just figured, fuck it.
Let's just go.
Who are you never going to use ever, MCU? Ugh, gross. Let's see. X-Man, Dazzler, Dr. Druid. What was that second one?
X-Man, Dazzler. Stop.
That's ours. We're taking it. And you can't have it back. Can't have her back. Oh, okay. Good. Both in agreement then. Yeah, we are. Great. Fine. Okay, so that'll do it for that. Keep a lookout for that. I don't know when the hell this is all coming out.
Maybe this year. possibly
Yeah.
this year. Maybe at least one of them is this year.
I'll say this in closing. I hope to God it isn't that cheap ass Flash looking animation.
Flash. Oh, Flash is in the program. Flash. Yes.
Yeah, no, not like the
Like a lot of streaming service
yeah.
animation shows.
There's a lot of that shit where it just looks like cutouts. Basically, It looks really. You know what I don't like about that stuff is it really flattens everything.
Yeah, there's no dimension to it.
It makes it, you're very aware that you're watching something animated instead of just kind of going with the flow of this artistic thing you're watching.
Yeah, that would not be good. I hope they do not go with
I
that.
really
kind of
hope they don't go with that unless it's like humor. Unless they find a way to incorporate that and make it funny and part of the show.
like an Aqua Teen or something.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? With Dave Willis doing this, as he did create and direct
Aqua Teen.
like basically every episode of Aqua Teen, I think they could find a way to do that and make it really funny.
Right.
And I don't know. It just depends on how they're going to handle the animation. I'm just hoping to God they don't do that cheap looking shit.
Well, as a final note, I would expect them all to look similar because they are supposed to coalesce at one point in the show.
Right.
So who knows? Or maybe they won't. Maybe they'll just all look different, and it'll be like that episode of fucking like what do you call it? Family Guy, where Hank Hill makes an appearance in that one cameo. But I don't know. It'll definitely be an interesting one. But moving on to our next story, we got some casting news and project announcement news. Chris Hemsworth is set to play Hulk Hogan in a biopic to be directed by Todd Phillips. Now, you and I have differing opinions on this, but not really. Like, we had differing opinions initially, and then I read more about this, and I realized that, like, our opinions align a little bit more. But I think this is one of those things that at the end of the day, our opinion differences come down to taste.
Well, are you a real American?
Brother.
Brother, are you a real American?
Oh, Terry.
Oh, man. So my big beef with this is I'm just sick to pieces of biopics. Where the fuck do I even start with biopics and how much they just annoy me? I understand you're going to change little things, but this is another case of it's similar to band movies and why I'm not a big fan of them. So, as I said, and I don't know, I could be wrong, but let me explain not why I didn't like Bohemian Rhapsody, but why I didn't bother to see it. Oh, yeah, there's a big scene where they're at Live Aid. Yeah, I know, I've seen the video. Why do I need to see someone recreate something that's already been filmed?
Right.
This is that in a nutshell. I could just go watch all of the Hulkster's old matches.
Right.
Why do I need to watch someone recreate it and do it not as well?
I know what you mean.
You know?
Yeah.
And have someone who's not as, like, ginormous.
No, I know what you mean.
I don't give a shit if it's Chris Hemsworth. I don't, like, Todd Phillips is the one thing that makes me think maybe I'll eat crow. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. But here's another thing. That guy is also a really good documentary maker.
Todd Phillips?
Yeah, have you seen Hated?
No.
The G.G. Allen documentary?
I didn't know that was him.
Yeah.
Wow, weird.
That's
recent, right?
Not really. It's like 10
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that was 93. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it's Todd Phillips, right?
Yeah, I didn't know he did that.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, I would rather see him make a documentary about the Hulkster.
Interesting.
And then on top of all this, it's part of the slow but sure mass exodus to Netflix and other streaming services.
That's really my issue with the movie. I don't like the platform that it's being given, and my two issues are that I don't like the Netflix platform because as of right now, not sure Netflix knows how to facilitate feature-length movies developed in-house. They certainly know how to distribute movies, but they don't know how to make them in-house yet. I don't think. They haven't figured it out. And two is, I don't like how closely involved Hulk Hogan is with this movie. Because that was one of the issues I had with Bohemian Rhapsody, is that it felt so safe, and it felt so much like Brian May and everybody else involved in that. God love them. Were just like they had their hands on that and were like, no, we can't tell that part of the story. We can't let the audience know that. It's like, no, man, like I want to know the fucking, like, you're making me want to actually think that I wanted to see the Sacha Baron Cohen version.
Right. This is why I keep telling you I'm just not a fan of biopics. There's there's all this half-truth, half-lie kind of bullshit. Oh, we needed to change that scene. The excuse I hate most with biopics is, well, we had to change that scene. You gotta, romanticize it a bit because it's a movie. But isn't this story supposed to be interesting enough to, to carry itself as a movie to begin with?
And that's where the pros come in. The only reason I would see this, regardless, is because when I think of pro wrestling, I'm not sure there's any other name I think of than immediately Hulk Hogan in terms of iconography. So I would be remiss to say that he doesn't deserve to have a movie made about his life. Now, that doesn't mean I think this movie will be good. I think that it was kind of a fucking foregone conclusion we were going to get a movie about Hulk Hogan.
At some point.
Yeah, that makes sense. The thing that makes me feel a little bit more confident is that, Todd Phillips is going to, of course, direct this. That feels good.
Right.
Scott Silver is going to co-write this. He wrote the forthcoming Joker movie from Todd Phillips. He also wrote The Fighter and 8 Mile. He's writing this with John Polano, who's a screenwriter that wrote the recent Jake Gyllenhaal Boston bombing movie Stronger.
Right.
And both of those movies, or both of those screenwriters, especially with The Fighter and Stronger, they have pretty good track records in not bullshitting me about what happened, and actually when they do take liberties with the story, it not being with critical fucking huge errors, where it's I could go on for hours about movies that have done this, especially recently, because there have been a lot of fucking offenders of this recently. But I feel like these guys are pretty good at representing truth. But again, the Hulk Hogan fingers on this thing, I don't know.
This is why I'm saying I'm tired of this shit. And
I feel you.
You know what I'd rather do, and I'd rather people do a lot more often when they think they have to do this biopic.
Documentary.
Either documentary. But here's the other alternative. Rocky. Rocky was loosely based on real events, but then you can change whatever the hell you want, and you're not bullshitting people, because it's
right.
I'm bullshitting you because this story is fiction. Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's based on Chuck Wepner versus Ali, but who gives a shit if it's accurate to that, because it's loosely based on. Mm-hmm. It's the names are changed. It's not the same thing.
So what you're saying is you want a movie that is loosely based on something that's going to end in a rights battle between the quote-unquote subject and the person who quote-unquote maybe ripped it off, instead of it being actually based on it.
Basically.
I get what you mean, though.
I know. I was...
But I get what you mean.
My point is, it's if a story's so great, then mm-hmm. I understand you have to change little things. Fine. But don't change huge deal.
Don't
parts.
Lie to me.
Yeah, don't bullshit me.
And don't
Saving Mr. Banks me.
Oh yeah, don't Bohemian Rhapsody me, where you literally change the timeline of how things occurred for dramatic effect. It's that's not fucking fair. And some of the biggest movies of the year have done that. Some movies nominated for Best Picture have done that.
Yeah.
Black Klansman did it. Straight up. Go on. There's a website I fucking use now. I'll give it a plug here. Oh. It's called History vs. Hollywood.
Yes.
I go on there every time I watch a true story movie.
Yeah.
And they do not fucking bullshit. They tell you straight up all the important questions. Did X happen? Did Y happen? Yes or no?
You know what's crazy about that site? I've used that a couple times. One was for Legend, the thing about the Cray twins.
Yeah.
One of the most unbelievable parts of the movie did legit happen.
It's a great site.
Did he fake sick and then beat up the guards and escape?
Prison?
Yeah, apparently, according to this site, he did.
It's an eye-opening site. They do their shit. It's been very useful recently because of all the true story movies that have been nominated for Best Picture, Green Book, Black Klansman. None of those movies are safe, trust me, if you go there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and I guess it's maybe I'm being too particular, but just don't fucking sell me this shit this is what happened. Don't make that part of your marketing campaign.
Yeah, don't lie.
Okay, for example, Wolf of Wall Street, and basically any Scorsese movie loosely based on
truth.
Yeah. Do you really get the impression from trailers or anything, or the way people talk about it, that the main point is that it's a historical movie?
Not really, no.
No. Wolf of Wall Street, they change a lot from the book. Mm-hmm. And the book, of course, is Jordan Belfort's memoir, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Autobiography.
But yeah, the idea is this is just a movie, and I think they maybe have one frame where it's like based on a true story, and I think they even like made a point to be like kinda or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's a synthesis here that I look for when seeing movies like this.
Yeah.
Is it a good movie, and is it an accurate representation of truth? And there are movies that like that exist. Like, I think Stronger with Jake Gyllenhaal is that. Like, from what I've read, it's like, yeah, this happened, and it's a very good movie. We were talking earlier about a movie that did this, Pawn Sacrifice. It's like, that's a biopic, but like, it's a damn good one because it's a good movie and it doesn't bullshit me. Like,
right.
We read up on that shit, and it's like, yeah, this all happened, it all checks out.
Yeah.
But we got to make sure we hold the people that do lie and do bullshit us about stories like this accountable.
Yeah, see,
we can't buy into it.
See, that's kind of my thing. Is like, I don't like the idea that a biopic is it's essentially supposed to tell you a real story. Mm. That's my thing. And then when you don't tell us the real story, it just gets irritating.
Right.
And that's why I'd rather people just make fictional movies. But fuck me, that's never going to happen.
We need more movies about wrestling in general. Like pro wrestling.
I don't think so.
But fiction or non. Like, just, there's not, how many have there been? Two?
I'd rather they make a fictional one.
That's what I mean.
Because
there's not enough movies about wrestling in general, fictional or otherwise.
There's no point in recreating wrestling scenes that already happened. I just think it's so dumb.
Yeah.
It's
not the behind the scenes stuff though, man.
But
it's about the feathered boas and Hulkamania.
No, it's only about, you get two choices. You can either adapt a comic book or a book, or you can do some bullshitting fake story that's supposed to be based on, real history. Mm-hmm. But those are your choices for movies now.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping the Netflix thing isn't a kiss of death here. That's the one that scares me the most, more than the Hulk Hogan involvement. Because
you know what? I'm almost certain I won't be watching this.
I'll definitely watch the trailer.
Yeah, obviously the trailer. That's not that's 2.5 minutes of my time, maybe. Damn. Yeah, whatever. That was a needless interlude. It's just we were spewing bile, and I was just bile spewing ye. Oh God, it's not going to stop. Sorry, people. Next story.
Speaking of streaming services, still.
Yeah, and back to Hulu. Mm-hmm. And back to really long bad segues. Anyway, Martin Scorsese, Leonardo DiCaprio are going to re-team for The Devil in the White City, but not as a movie as we've been hearing previously. This time as a miniseries for Hulu again. Mm-hmm. Both are going to executive produce, but there's no word yet on whether Scorsese will direct or DiCaprio will star. I'd be hard-pressed to
think either of those is going to happen.
No, that they wouldn't do that.
Oh, you think they're going to star?
I think that Scorsese will probably at least direct the pilot.
You think so? Oh, you might be right. I can see that. I know he's got that other movie that's coming up, the Killers of the Flower Moon or whatever, the really depressing book about oil and Native American stuff, which I think also has Leonardo DiCaprio in it. But what's interesting about this is that this is about a decades-long thing that's been in development. This Devil in the White City book, which is about... it's an interesting story. It's a nonfiction story, but sort of fiction-y. It's about the World's Fair in 1893. It's about Daniel Burnham, who was the guy who designed the World's Fair and created or showcased the first Ferris wheel, and H.H. Holmes, who was a very famous serial killer that was killing people around the same time in Chicago, both at the same time.
Was his hotel nickname the Murder Castle or something?
Castle, yeah. It is now trivia. That is now post office.
Oh, good.
In the South Side. But anyway, this has been in development for 10 years, and I've actually read a couple drafts of features. This was in development as a fucking movie, actually. Yeah. And I've read a couple of drafts of people trying their hand at this movie, and it wasn't really that good either time. And I'll say this, I'm a little upset that they're not doing this as a movie, and I'm a little upset that DiCaprio and Scorsese seemingly aren't as involved in this as we thought they were going to be, but at least it's going to be a mini-series. Like, that's the one
yeah.
form of TV entertainment that I'm like, yeah, sure, fine. But I'm also not a big fan of Hulu, and I'm not a big fan of streaming services and trying to keep track of all of them.
Well,
so
see,
this kind of sucks.
Well, see, that's kind of my point, and I know we sort of sound like broken records, but this is part of the mass exodus of things that should be made by, companies that, God, heaven forbid, have made a living and have their foundations in making movies and TV.
Right.
But instead it's going to Hulu and like Netflix. But what's bugging me is the talent that's like the A-listers who are going to Hulu and Netflix. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is more that it's not that, oh, why would you go to this? It's why are they taking on projects that don't turn out that good? So it's to the point where even, insert star that you like's name here can't save this project.
Right. Yeah, I know what you mean. Especially where it's, what else is interesting is you think that guys like Scorsese are such like old fogies when it comes to tech.
I thought
film.
he was. Yeah, go on.
Well, no, like because he's gone on about like the importance of like analog film and preserving certain aspects of it and
right.
The distribution process and the theater screening process, and here he is with his next movie coming out, The Irishman, which is a exclusively Netflix picture.
Yep.
And this is going to be a Hulu miniseries. I don't know. I'm not saying he's above or shouldn't be adapting, but it was interesting to see that because I know he's such a classical guy when it comes to film.
Right, that's the thing. He seemed rather adamant about maintaining certain things about film,
right,
or about making movies and all that. And yeah, I understand what you're saying about he should be a little bit, more willing to adapt when necessary.
Right,
but. Man.
At what cost?
At what cost?
At what cost?
I thought that he would take a little longer to get to that point. Mm. But I remember him complaining about this shit maybe like a year ago, and he just already said, yeah, you know what, fuck it. Can't beat him, join him.
Yeah. I'm just mostly bummed about, like, you look at pictures of the 1893 Columbian Exposition, which is what they called the Chicago's World Fair back then, like, it was really cool. Like, a really, really cool thing. Like, they built all these buildings and all the lights and shit were on display. And then, I don't want to fucking watch that on my phone. Like, I wanted to see that in theaters.
No,
So, like, what the hell?
But that's what I'm saying. There's, with the amount of projects and the stars, Sandra Bullock, Will Smith, Charlize Theron's got one for Netflix coming out.
Right.
John Malkovich was on that Agatha Christie thing.
Oh yeah, jeez.
No matter who writes, who directs, it's just like the Netflix and Hulu just seem to not give a shit how bad it is. Mm. They're missing that one little bit of oversight that for whatever reason makes it worth distributing or worth watching.
Yeah.
So
it's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This just seems like that's going to be more of that. And oh, but you guys haven't seen it yet. You know what? Fuck it. I doubt that.
I'm willing to be proven wrong. I mean,
I would love to be proven
wrong. I'm
wrong.
still on a wait and see basis. Like I'll see the trailer, sure.
Just why do I get the feeling I'm not going to change my mind?
I can't change the fact that I'm slightly disappointed this is no longer a movie that I was going to watch in a theater.
Yeah.
That's a sensibility I can't divorce myself from right now.
Right.
So that's shitty.
But
whatever.
Yeah, I guess people are just like, fuck the theater experience, right?
I guess. Sometimes.
And fuck oversight and, just fuck it. Shoot on the first draft. Who gives a shit? Let's just rush these out and make so many of them you can't even count or keep track of them.
Yeah.
Instead of taking your time and having a few really good ones or whatever. But, we're just fucking dinosaurs when it comes to liking seeing things in theaters. Oh, well. Moving right along. Let's see.
No, not really spewing much more bile for the rest of this, at least for a little bit. Yeah, no, not really much bile.
Not much bile. Mostly good times. Good times were had when I watched, for instance, the trailer for Ma.
Yeah.
Starring Octavia Spencer.
Yeah, man. This is a treat. This is a story of a woman named Sue Ann, who's a loner, keeps to herself in a quiet town in Ohio, and one day she's asked by Maggie, a new teenager in town, to buy some booze for her and her friends, and Sue Ann sees the chance to make some unsuspecting, if younger, friends of her own. She offers the kids a chance to avoid drinking and driving by hanging out in her basement in the basement of her own. But there are some house rules. One of the kids has to stay sober. You don't curse, you never go upstairs, and you always call her Ma. But as Ma's hospitality starts to curdle into obsession, what began as a teenage dream turns into a terrorizing nightmare, and Ma's place goes from the best place in town to the worst place on earth.
So, drinking in strangers' basements, what could go wrong?
Alex, I got a movie for you.
What's that?
It's Misery meets Project X.
See, I kind of like that because see, that's kind of what appealed to me about this movie. You're like, man, those Project X, like you're watching that movie. God, I hate this. All these characters suck. And then it's like,
I kind of wish that there was a slasher.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, now that they might drop dead.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
It's kind of a dynamite premise because you're like, I never really thought about, like, yeah, what if, like, someone buys... It's like that dude from Superbad, like the guy that hits Jonah Hill, Joe Latruda.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I can buy you guys some beer.
And then they go to that sketchy party where everyone's doing coke.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, what if, like,
My brother drove all the way from Glendale, so you better sing. These eyes.
These eyes.
Cry
These
every
eyes.
night. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this premise.
It's weird because you're like, yeah, what if that did happen? What if a crazy person did take advantage of these kids wanting to get some booze for a weekend party?
And kids are dumb, so
Kids are really dumb.
I guess I can. I don't know though. I don't think like kids are drinking a stranger's basement dumb. But,
Yeah, no.
But you know what? I'll roll with it.
Yeah, and especially in the trailer, you see like the one girl's like, dude, look, like there's a crawl space. This place is awesome. There's like dead bodies in the back.
I was just thinking, why would
Tanning racks?
Yeah.
Like, okay, guys, like you wouldn't be a little bit creeped out?
Yeah, and see, here's the biggest part about this is maybe with the wrong cast, this could be shitty.
Well,
i.e. Greta.
yeah.
But sorry, couldn't resist.
What's the biggest?
shade.
I mean, Jesus, what's the biggest selling point of this movie?
Is that Octavia Spencer's the crazy lady?
I don't think we've gone into an appropriate, what do you call it, like love session on
Gushing.
her yet. She's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen her in anything where I'm like, Octavia wasn't bringing it today.
No, exactly. She's awesome in everything she's in.
Yeah, like even on like guest like star roles on like sitcoms that I've seen. It's like, yeah, she really is a funny lady.
That's what
and
I mean.
A terrific actor.
I don't know if I've seen her take a role like this.
No, and that's, she's not beyond it. Like she's played the serious roles, but fuck if we've never seen her play the villain before. And I'm ready. Let's go.
I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, this should be interesting.
Because this also took me by surprise because I hadn't heard anything about it. Like none of the like horror specific trades had mentioned it till the trailer was out.
Right.
Or at least that I had found. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, man.
So check out the trailer for Ma if those of you playing at home haven't seen it.
It's quite a treat.
Yeah. Moving right along, Warrior, that series that's going to be on Cinemax. Saw a little teaser, and the show is going to be The showrunner is Jonathan Tropper, who created Banshee. Then we got Justin Lin.
Of Fast and Furious fame.
Yep. Danielle Woodrow, don't know her. And Bruce Lee's own daughter,
Shannon Lee,
will executive produce.
Yeah.
Warrior will premiere April 5th.
And this is based on an idea of Bruce Lee's that was in long development.
I guess he had some writings and ideas about some shit he was working on.
It's set during the Tong Wars in the late 1800s in San Francisco, and it follows a martial arts prodigy originating in China who moves to San Francisco and ends up becoming a hatchet man for the most powerful Tong in Chinatown. And it's a quick trailer. It's about 40 seconds, but boy do they load a lot in there.
Does it look good. It has one of those classic two huge groups running at each other.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty much a sucker for that. Mm-hmm. Anytime you do that, I'm
Civil
in.
War.
The
X-Men collide.
Well, that's my word for it. This is very much an X-Men collide.
Oh, yeah.
The big, like, cops versus the Bane people in Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, yeah. Jeez.
I'm a sucker for those. And you're adding some martial arts in this?
Oh, yeah.
I'm there.
You add the Lee connection. the respect to the man and his
See,
idea.
that's the thing is I like the setting a lot.
Yeah.
Because the one thing that I think is important for martial arts movies to work usually is there has to be a setting that's, kind of rife with situations that would lead
Tension.
to, with some fisticuffs or whatever.
You see, that's what sold me, is because I'm a bit of a history nut, and this is a chapter of history in a location that I'm not familiar with. I'm not familiar with the Tong Wars in that era in San Francisco. So I mean, I'm not looking for a blow by blow actual tell me what happened, but an interesting look into what this era of American history was like would be really cool.
Yeah.
So I'm super down for this. The trailer's great. It's really short, and I didn't need much else. And also Cinemax.
Cinemax has been on it with their action shows. They've been really looking good.
Banshee, Strike Back.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Strike Back.
A lot of action stuff.
They just know how to do it. Good stunt work, good choreography, cinematography. It all comes together with Cinemax. So Warrior looks pretty rad. I'm a big fan of what I've seen so far. Not to be confused with, because I kept doing this, with Wu Assassins. That show that's due to be out on Netflix, and I'm obviously there with that one because Iko Uwais. Enough said. So Warrior looks pretty rad, and that's going to be, as I said before, April 5th. Next up, Tommy Wiseau's got a trailer out for this movie, I guess. He hasn't started filming, but I guess this concept trailer or whatever.
Yeah.
For Big Shark. And it's about a big shark.
Yeah.
You know what the thing I gotta say about this trailer is? I can't tell if he's in on the joke or just still doesn't get it, but I kind of don't care.
Yeah,
it works either way.
It works either way because it is weird, but yeah, there was a little bit of me where I'm like, is he aware of what he's doing now? 'Cause there was something about the room where it's like, you knew, it's like, no matter how much of what Tommy Wiseau or how much he backpedaled on it, like, oh yeah, it was totally a black comedy the whole time. It's like, no matter how much he said that, you fucking knew it wasn't. Yeah. This is like, I can't tell, but it's still like, I'm going to be here for it.
It had that classic awkward editing.
Yeah.
And there's a thing where the chick slaps him. You're the worst. And then it just cuts awkwardly and breaks the 180 rule. Then the other chick slaps him. That's for my best friend.
And like awkward Tommy Wiseau.
Look, it's water.
Look, it's water.
So, again, for those of you playing at home, go check out the trailer for Big Shark. Because it's just Tommy Wiseau awkwardness at its finest. This is supposed to be targeting for a September release date this year.
Oh boy. Good luck.
I don't doubt that they could finish it all by that time.
Seeing those shark effects, they got it down.
I think they'll have it done by then.
That shark looked like Andros from Star Fox 64.
Man, I still gotta see Best Fiend Friends.
Oh, Best
whatever, Best Friends. I need to see that. I haven't seen it yet. I'll have to get on that. I'm there, though. I'm looking forward to this.
As am I. Would you like me to take the next story, sir?
Certainly.
Okay. Black Widow has now hired a new screenwriter to rewrite the script by Jack Schaefer. That screenwriter is Ned Benson.
Good catch. I, again, wrote down the wrong name. I wrote down Doug Benson.
Another good Benson.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, go on.
This fellow who wrote The Disappearance of Eleanor Rigby, which is a movie from a few years back starring James McAvoy and Jessica Chastain. He's been courted to get the movie's rewrite going. And the interesting thing about this is I guess there was some sort of thing going on with Scarlett Johansson where she was already in talks to star in a movie that he had written about some kind of an article. What was it again?
He wrote a script based on an article in a newspaper that came out kind of recently. It was called Aryan Princess, and it was the story of an informant who helped take down the ABT, Aryan Brotherhood of Texas. So,
right.
So it's a true story that they're going to make a movie. I guess he wrote the script. And
ScarJo was attached.
Apparently, and she liked it. Whatever.
Brought him in to rewrite this.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Disappearance of Eleanor Rigby.
I saw the trailer and I was not getting a vibe like, yeah, this is the guy who you need to replace this person who wrote Timer to write Black Widow. But what the fuck do I know?
I'm going to, as I said before, I pull my default card out, which is I have doubted Marvel so many times and I've been proven wrong so many times.
Right, but
I feel like they know what they're doing, but I don't know.
I mean, but with writing, though, like, I get that impression with directing. Writing, it seems a little more random.
You know what's weird, though, is, like, this I have a really weird confidence in the director. Like, I think Kate Shortland is really the right person. Like, she might be the most right person for a Marvel movie in a long time. You know what I mean? Like, what's the last director? You're like, yeah, they fucking should do this.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
It's been a while. Like, been a little bit.
Well, Taika Waititi, I don't know.
I mean, like, when you, like, before seeing Thor, you're like, the fuck?
Yeah.
You're like, I kind of like that, but what?
Yeah, oh, no, I get what you're saying.
Where, like,
it's
Kate Shortland, it's like,
Kate Shortland, where you sit there and you think, yeah, that makes absolute sense.
Right. See, that I have a little bit more confidence in.
Okay, that's a good point. I had forgotten about that. You're right. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, like, I don't really... I mean, maybe I need to see... But, like, fuck that. I know this movie doesn't have, like, fight scenes or spy intrigue or whatever. It's a romance movie, right?
Yeah.
The only thing that kind of piques my interest or makes me think, yeah, I understand how that fits into this is the fact that it's like a trilogy of movies and it's like him, her, and they or whatever.
Yeah.
So
them,
it's
I think is
whatever.
Three perspectives and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the same movie from three perspectives. So I guess in a slight way, it's like they're looking at that as he's able to do a lot of writing that's interconnected. So that's like the Marvel universe pretty much.
Right.
The MCU. So I get it on that note, but I don't know. Yeah, who gives a shit? They'll just hire some stunt directors for the fight scenes. So it's all good.
Sure. Yeah, so I think this is...
I don't know. It's just... I thought it was a little weird of a choice. It's just... To me, why not just choose someone who does action shit?
Yeah, I agree.
Or fantasy or something tangentially related.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll have to see.
Because that's why Kate Shortland works. Thrillers, that's close enough for me.
Oh, yeah.
You know? It's not like she directed fucking, I don't know, like movies about like pets and shit or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's not that far a cry.
Mm-hmm.
This seems a little whatever, but who gives a shit? You're right. Marvel knows best.
Also, side note,
so far at least,
Kevin Feige saying this movie will not be rated R.
No, you don't say.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, but people on the internet they said that they knew some people who heard stuff.
Well, the stuff from those people was wrong.
No, it couldn't be. Why would they be putting it on the internet?
The stuff from those people was wrong. I have to say again.
But they put it on the internet. It's got to be right. Yeah, no shit. It's not going to be R. We all knew that. Whatever.
Well, Suicide Squad 2 is rumored to our next story. It's expected to start production later this year. Harley Quinn is expected to return after all, and they're targeting an August 6th, 2021 release date.
Right, so for those of you playing at home, like not that long ago, a week or two ago, they're saying Harley Quinn wouldn't be in Suicide Squad, and that was obviously bullshit, because she's the number one selling point for making a Suicide Squad 2.
Right.
So that seemed obviously wrong.
Mm-hmm. And it seems.
Can we start, like people out there posting this shit? Can you stop just fucking, taking spitballing at brainstorm sessions?
There's been a couple of those.
That's what I mean. It's like, just stop, like...
We had another, not scare, but we had another false alarm with Armie Hammer this week.
Yeah,
it's like he's fine. He's been cast as Batman.
It's like, yep, it's almost done. It's like, no.
Next day, it's like, no.
Correction, we're dumb. We got it wrong.
I'll keep that in mind. Revenge of the Fans. Next time I see your latest exclusive rumor, I'm gonna fucking remember that Armie Hammer thing.
I mean, people just run with this shit. That's the thing. Is like normally they'll be like, rumor mill says, but this time around with a lot of these things, especially the Harley Quinn, no, it's true. Mm-hmm. Way to go, Forbes. And that's weird, too, is because Forbes, I feel like, is pretty damn reliable on most things.
Yeah, but I think they have a weird, like, their contributor thing is, like, they have a lot of, like, I don't know, like, they pull from a lot of different, what do you call it, publications. I think they have a lot of, like, satellite publications that they contribute to the Forbes website, but I don't know.
So, yeah, obviously she's going to be in Suicide Squad 2. God damn, they're going to... So, they're filming it late this year?
Okay. Yes.
All right.
Later this year.
Man, they're just taking a long time. Just, can we fucking get stuff? I don't know. I mean, we're getting stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, need I remind you that a rushed script was what felled Suicide Squad 1. So, you know what, James Gunn, take your time.
A watch pot never boils. A rushed script never makes a good movie. Wow, that was a shitty joke. Anyway.
Yeah.
Womp womp. But my bad.
Anyway, that will be forthcoming.
Yes. Okay. And then finally, we got a trailer for this cartoon coming out. Victor and Valentino, set to premiere on Cartoon Network on March 30th. Looks pretty cool.
Looks very cool, I think.
I like that. You know, because the one thing that's been bugging me is the subject matter that keeps getting thrown around. Like Adventure Time kind of started it for a while. The kind of resurgence with medieval themed shit, like that type of fantasy land.
Right.
So that got a little tiresome. So this is cool because it's like Mexican folklore.
Yeah, that's new. At least for this channel. At least.
Well, it's just like the two things that I like about learning about another culture. The first two things I like to learn about are their music and their folklore and their myths and all that stuff.
Yeah, and I think that this...
go on.
Well, no, I was just going to say that there's that, and I also I have confidence in the showrunner, his name is Diego Milano. He's kind of a journeyman artist. He recently worked on the Powerpuff Girls recent reboot, which I'm not so keen on, but he's also
But he didn't write it. So it's okay.
Yeah. Well, actually, no, I think it says he did write it, and he was a storyboard artist. But he was also he's a background layout artist on China, Illinois, and Black Dynamite. And he's done a couple other things for a couple other shows on Cartoon Network that aren't very bad at all. But if anything, the animation for this show looks a lot better than Powerpuff Girls, I'd say.
Well, it also looks funnier.
Funnier and more vibrant.
Let us be clear. We're talking about the new, like the old school
2016 Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, that was not fun.
Not the 90s Powerpuff
Girls. Not the
Girls.
Craig McCracken stuff, which was obviously classic.
Right. But
this looks good.
That, I'm fine with this guy doing it. I haven't seen the pilot, which actually the pilot came out for this on October 29th, 2016.
No kidding.
Yeah, and I guess it did so well they ordered it to season 1.
Yeah.
So we got it coming out here in just a bit.
Yeah, so I'll keep my eyes peeled for that one. So that'll do it for the news.
Moving on to our reviews section. We got a couple reviews, but starting off, we have a review for the newest Liam Neeson film, Cold Pursuit. This is a remake of a Norwegian movie called In Order of Disappearance, also known as Kraftidioten, and that stars Stellan Skarsgård and is directed by the same fellow who made this, Hans Petter Moland. So what's interesting about this movie is, at first glance, through the trailers, you kind of look at this and you're like, yeah, this seems like you're kind of by the numbers, Liam Neeson, someone harmed my ex. I've got to go kill them. You know,
yeah, someone did me wrong, time for revenge.
Right. And I would say, plot-wise, it doesn't venture too far away from that, but that's not what makes this movie different. This movie's got a very, very different tone in play than you would expect from any sort of Liam Neeson movie.
Yeah, I would say the tone was darkly comedic, was the main tone.
Very weird.
Well,
but good weird, like cheeky.
Yeah, it was weird because in a movie, well, in a lot of movies now, and in most movies, there's some sort of morality play. But that's actually what I liked about this movie is it was just, no, this is just catharsis for the sake of it.
Right.
They're like, and you know what I mean? Like, no character was spared because of anything.
Right.
Or, you know, I mean, there was, I guess, if there were any morals, it was like, certain characters who were shitty people would obviously get theirs or whatever. But at the end of the day, it wasn't trying to teach you a lesson or anything. It was just, revenge for the sake of revenge, and it was just kind of that.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. And for me, yeah, it was the plot was good, and I enjoyed seeing the revenge play out. But man, yeah, the tone really hit me right. It kind of hit the bullseye for me. It kind of felt a little bit like, I don't know if you felt this way, like it felt like a more entry level version of like Martin McDonagh's tone, where it's like something like an In Bruges or Seven Psychopaths, but like subtler.
Well, because those movies kind of have that in common. Mm-hmm. Whether you live or die is not, or whether you get yours or don't, it's not always because you're a good or bad character or whatever.
Right.
It's just kind of, things just kind of play out.
And there's a lot of awkward laughter where it's like, are they doing a slapstick joke here?
Yeah.
Is that what this is? Should I laugh? And like, it works. Like, it's all really funny. There's a lot of really great bits. Physical comedy bits, I'd say, but like not overtly slapstick.
Right.
Like, this isn't a Harold Lloyd movie, but like there is like awkward comedy, like involving like sight gags and shit. I thought it really worked, and yeah, if I were to say the one like standout element of this movie, it's gotta be that tone.
You know what I think is another thing that's important about this movie, and I say this a lot when I notice it in a good movie. I loved that Kehoe and Denver, it felt like an extra character.
Yeah.
In the same way Chicago feels like an extra character in The Fugitive or Boston in Departed.
You know what's weird?
I don't know. To me, that's an important thing to make a great movie a lot of the time, is the setting has to really play a part in the kinds of characters you find in this place and how they're going to deal with things differently than characters in another city or another country or whatever.
Were you as impressed with how this movie looked as I was?
Yeah.
There were a lot of great shots, especially at night. I'm like, fuck, this place looks awesome. Just like the snowscapes, and like they use a waterfall a bit for a couple images. I'm like, this just looks really good. And I don't even care if it doesn't, because some of the stuff looks like CGI.
Right.
But some of them which I just didn't care because it was an interestingly composed shot. I also really, I don't know if you felt this way, I took special attention to the music.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of really interesting like guitar work, or like sounded kind of like balalaika type stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that's interesting. You don't hear that in a score every now and then.
It felt very good and cheeky.
Yeah.
And there's something they do every time a character dies. We'll just keep this review non-spoiler. But what I liked about that was it paid off in a really, really good way towards the end.
Oh, yeah.
Also, I liked Emmy Rossum, even though she had a smaller role than I expected.
Sure.
I liked her character. I maybe wish there's a little more, but it's one of those things, perhaps it's for the better that it was a smaller role.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the kid? The bad guy's son?
Oh, he's cracked me up. He had a couple lines that were just bangers, and it's not really so much, I don't know, the performance or the written line, I couldn't decide, but regardless, I laughed for a couple lines. He has a couple real funny lines.
Yeah, well, this isn't like a big spoiler. They're trying to help the boss, because like they basically clue you in that the kid's an egghead.
Yeah, he's a super genius.
And this guy's working on his like fantasy football
bracket thing.
Yeah, he says something like, "I have 4 Cleveland Browns on my team. I can't help you then."
Yeah,
I thought that was great.
Oh, man.
What'd you think of the boss, the crime boss?
I
loved that character because
he cracked me up, man.
You know what I liked about this movie that I think a lot of movies just don't do? They just have characters where it was the good and bad that I was kind of talking about earlier. Like, he's a health nut.
Yeah.
But why would that be a bad guy? Why the hell not?
It's so
why
weird.
Can't a bad guy be a health nut?
He I wavered on him and being like, I was threatened by him, and then there were scenes where I'm like, this guy's such a goon.
He's such a loser.
Like, there's a scene where he punches a stuffed bear. Like, he's like a 6 foot or like a 5 foot tall stuffed bear, like decks it like in anger. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, his wife always makes him look like a loser.
Oh,
they're talking about like divorce proceedings. And she's always, kind of knocks him down a peg. And Liam Neeson's, good as the grizzled dad.
Oh, yeah, he's real good. I will say with Liam Neeson, it's not necessarily like, there's not much in this that I'd say we've seen from Liam Neeson that's different from anything else we've seen from him, but there are a couple of comedy bits, very subtle, need be. that he puts in, and they work. So
Yeah.
that's good to see. That's a little bit different.
I thought, I think the cast all around was really good.
Yeah.
William Forsythe was good.
Yeah, I liked him.
I think her name was Elizabeth Ty. She had a bit part as.
Oh, his wife?
Oh man, that cracked me up.
Yeah, she was funny, man.
This movie, you know what I love is this movie just really didn't give a shit about your feelings, about how you think about the characters. It just kind of, it's just like, this is just how this is going to play out. It didn't feel like you could, like, obviously all movies have some element of predictability, but it didn't feel like it was one of those things where you could see every beat.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
There's stuff with assassins and the different gangs and all that interplay.
Yeah.
Kind of reminded me of like a twisted version of a Mad Mad World.
Yeah, a little bit.
Everyone's kind of after each other and everyone's on each other's ass. Mm-hmm. And then you throw in a little Three's Company. Yeah. There's a tad of, there's some misunderstandings along the way. It's good stuff. Mm-hmm. Overall, I thought this was a different movie.
Yeah.
To me, I know this might be speaking a little too soon, but I think that this makes me much more hopeful for 2019 as a movie year than 18. And I think at least this seems like it's a good start. It was just a different movie. It just wasn't the same bullshit,
Refreshingly different and I would say above average overall in many respects. And refreshing, as I said.
I quite like this. I will score this 4 out of 5.
I'm not going to go too much lower. I'm at a 7.5 out of 10. So, only issues I had was, I feel like in the second half of Act 2, we lose a little bit of Liam Neeson, a little bit too much.
Yeah, okay. See, I was going to say a little bit of that.
And maybe a couple jokes that, either didn't land or I couldn't tell were supposed to be serious or not jokey. I don't know. But other than that, it's still really exceptional.
No, that's true. There was a couple kind of quirky-ish lines I didn't know. Mm-hmm. But then there's obviously some bangers that knock it out of the park.
Oh, yeah.
There's a little bit of stuff with in the later act with the kid and Liam Neeson that I found I had a little trouble believing.
Right.
But yeah, there's little pacing things, but not in long chunks at a time.
Right.
But I kind of get what you mean. There's parts where the main thread was getting a little buried.
But overall, a definite watch.
At the end of the day, they eventually found all the threads and made them go together. Mm-hmm. That's the thing that made it worth it. Was yes, you do lose Liam Neeson, but at least they justified it in the end.
It pays off.
It all pays. Everything comes together in a weird, very in Bruges way.
Yeah.
So it's weird you say that comparison. So I agree with that. So 4 out of 5 from me. And a 7.5 out of 10 from you. So that'll do it for our review of Cold Pursuit. And now we move on to our review of Alita Battle Angel. So this movie, of course, has been in the works for years. James Cameron was obviously the mastermind behind trying to bring this to the American audiences. Alita is, of course, based on the manga called Gundam or whatever. Gundam. Yeah, Gunnmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Or Battle Angel Alita.
Battle Angel Alita. Mm-hmm. So to give a little context of our views on this, I don't think either one of us have read the manga, am I right?
You're correct.
Okay, and you haven't seen the anime either?
Yes.
Neither have I. So I went into this pretty fresh, but I'm always, open to see more types of material getting adapted. As I had strong hopes for Ghost in the Shell, I had kind of middle hopes for this, honestly.
Yeah, I didn't have much stake in this.
It was one of those things where I wasn't really sure I wanted to see it from the first trailer, and this is one of those few times where I did need to see more. Mm-hmm. So I saw more, and then I saw more again.
Same here.
And I think I can summarize this movie really simply by putting it this way. This movie was fantastic, above and beyond, in terms of action. Mm-hmm. Story was a bit flimsy.
Yes.
Alita I really liked as a character. Mm-hmm. And Mahershala Ali's character was cool. Jennifer Connelly worked. But then all the other human characters kind of sucked and seemed like they're expendable, like Nickelodeon show characters.
Yeah, specifically like the friend characters.
What's the main, like the boyfriend guy? Because I felt like he didn't matter and I didn't care about him.
His name is, I remember his name is Hugo. Keon Johnson is how you pronounce it?
Whatever, Hugo.
Keean. I don't know how you pronounce that.
Her whole thing with Hugo was whatever.
It's
You know, it's weird how many parallels this had to Aquaman.
Yeah.
And I guess spoilers for how I feel about this for scores. Because this mirrored Aquaman in so many ways in terms of how I felt about it as a story and as a spectacle, I'm adjusting my Aquaman score to be continued on what that is. But back to that. This movie's story is kind of all over the place.
Right.
But in a weird way, it does manage, I guess at the end, it does have a point. It doesn't get completely lost, but it just felt almost episodic in a way. Like, have you ever seen the MASH movie?
Yeah.
That it's much more clear. It's like it's basically 3 episodes packaged together as like a long pilot, essentially.
Right.
This kind of had that feeling where there's developments that kind of went from one place to another, but there was the overarching theme, which is we're in the shitty Iron City. We got to get up there to the city in the sky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I agree with you there. This felt like a clip show of season 1 of an anime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's actually kind of weird you say that. Is I felt like this could be obviously it's based off a manga and anime. It very much felt like this episode, the rollerblade episode, the tryout episode, like all that stuff.
The hunting down rogue.
The bounty
robot.
hunter
Yeah.
episode.
Right.
Yeah.
But what I will say is my biggest problem with a lot of anime adaptations recently, and I'm in no position to speak on it because I'm not by any like stretch of the word into anime as much as others are, but from what I could tell, a lot of the people who've been doing it, who've been adapting anime into films, they were missing a little bit of passion. Like, as much as I loved how Ghost in the Shell looked,
right,
the movie, and all of that, just was missing something story-wise. It didn't feel like they cared.
The script
enough.
really felt like they didn't give a shit.
Right. And while I agree that this isn't perfect and the story is not perfect at all, I feel a genuine passion on the part of James Cameron, Robert Rodriguez, and the other people involved in this. John Landau, I think, is one of the producers. Yeah. I actually felt like, oh, okay, so they get it. Because I would say in terms of adapting anime to Western audiences, this is, of the movies I've seen, this is the most accurate in terms of like bringing a lot of Eastern style storytelling techniques and like tropes to Western audiences. Like,
right.
This brought a lot. Like, there's so many scenes of like, oh, that's like totally how the anime would have done it. And I haven't seen the anime. Or like, there's a scene where like Alita's like sitting on her bed and like she has like an echoey inner monologue going on. And like, there's a scene where like, I mean, this is kind of not really a spoiler, but it's a visual where like she cries, then she cuts her tear in half and the 2 tears hit the ground. I'm like, that's the most anime thing I've ever fucking seen.
Sure is, Billy. It sure is.
So there's a lot of that in here. It's like, okay, you gave a shit. So while I didn't think this movie was perfect, I definitely think it's a big step forward for the future of anime adaptations.
See, that's kind of what I was going to say. Is I felt like this was a gigantic step forward because, yeah, there were some, like, I guess minor issues, but it looked really damn good and it was entertaining as all hell.
Yes.
And the main thing they did do right is they got the main character down perfectly.
I agree.
And I
think Rosa Salazar is really good.
Yes, I think Rosa Salazar nails it. And I don't know how true it is to the original Alita, but as a character, you really liked Alita, and you were rooting for her.
Yeah, you got a real sense of idealism in her, where she's very naive, but she's also very strong in those ideals that she holds very dear to her.
Right. And she's tenacious and all that shit.
Yeah, man.
So that's kind of what I think is the biggest difference between this and Ghost in the Shell, where Scarlett Johansson's performance as Major Kusanagi kind of felt
whatever.
half and half.
Yeah.
This, you got a very strong sense of Alita as a character. Mm-hmm. And with that strong sense of character came a lot of beating the shit out of other robots.
Yeah. A lot of them.
I keep bringing up Aquaman. So Aquaman's whole thing is this underwater shit. You've never seen anything like this. This was like, yeah, maybe this had the like rollerball scenes.
Yeah.
But you haven't seen them like this.
No.
Where you have this weird mix of technology, martial arts, and robotics all together at once.
Yeah.
That was really neat.
Yeah.
And the fight scenes in this were incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, really, really good choreography. And what I liked is how she has that weird style. I don't know what the fuck it's called. But they have like a made-up martial art that the robots do.
Okay.
But I like that because you're putting in an effort to do something different. You're not like, oh yeah, let's just do the standard wushu taekwondo hybrid like fight scene that most people try and do.
Right.
This is like, how are we going to make this completely different than everything you've seen so far?
Yeah.
And to me, the action was so good. So fucking on point. And her character was so strong that I was able to forgive a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I realize that's kind of crazy how much I'm willing to forgive. But I'll say this. If those things weren't so strong, the things that kind of were problems would have mattered a lot more.
I agree. And I think that I probably overlooked a little bit less, but I agree with you where there was a point in this movie where I'm like, all right, Robert, what kind of movie did you come here to watch? You know, like, did you come here to watch a real smart, like, East meets West type of blockbuster, or is this more of a Western type blockbuster? Who's directing this, Robert? Is this Robert Rodriguez making this, or is this a fucking, is this a David Fincher or a Christopher Nolan movie?
Yeah.
Not to disparage Robert Rodriguez, but he's gone on record many times in saying that, like, he's making movies that are fun. You know, he wants to make movies that are, like, badass. And this is a very badass film. And, like, oh man, the fight scenes are really, really dope. Like, really good.
No, I hear you. There was one thing, though. I think it was a little long.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like these studios, they have this quota idea. You can make a blockbuster or an action movie, you know, hour 50, hour 40. It doesn't have to be 2 hours. I thought there's a little, because at the beginning, the first half, it really goes fast.
Yeah.
And I was really, really on board. And then it starts to lull just a little bit, especially towards the end. And I guess there's no, okay, we won't give it away entirely, but I'm going to say this, and I guess this is minor spoiler. This movie doesn't exactly have an ending.
No, and that's kind of an issue, in my eyes, because it's like, you know how, like, Batman Begins was an origin story?
Right.
But it was also, like, something big went down, like, Gotham was almost fucking destroyed.
Yeah.
This is, like, just an origin story. Like, the net outcome of what goes wrong in this is small.
So, yeah, that's kind of my thing. You know, it's kind of, it reminded me of also Mile 22. See, but this is what I'm saying. Because everything was so standout that was good, I was willing to forgive the fact that this movie basically isn't fucking over. It's like, to be continued? Not like, this main thing's resolved, now, but there's more, like a post-credit scene. This is, nope, we're not even fucking finished here. Which I think is like, you know...
It's ballsy.
It's ballsy, and it's kind of, to me, it's sort of a, you've got some fucking nerve.
Yeah, a little bit.
But unlike Mile 22, where Mile 22 really pisses me off because it's such a cocky thing. Like, yeah, we know you want more of this movie. No, I don't. This movie sucked dick. This one, I say more, you know what, fuck you, but I do want more.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you got me, you're right, but still fuck you.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I agree, and I think overall, looks really good. Very much like Aquaman. Looks really, really good.
Yeah.
Fight scenes, holy God. The action, oh man. The world, Jesus. Story.
The love story, boo.
Love story, nah, no good.
A lot of this, like Aquaman, some side characters,
The plot overall,
Well, I don't know, because it's like, it didn't really matter, because, you know, in a weird way, I know we keep just comparing it's like this, it's like that. It's almost felt like one of those, like, John Linklater or Richard Linklater movies where it's like, this is the 70s and shit just happens. This is like, this is Iron City.
2563.
Yeah. This is 3,000 years in the future and shit just happens.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very atypical in terms of structure, in terms of tone. Like, I felt like, for me, the first, 20 minutes, I was like, what are we doing here, guys? Like, where's
I
this
liked
going?
the first 20 minutes.
I liked it, but, they start doing some stuff with, oh, man, some of the dialogue, too, I'm like, all right, let's go.
Just like Aquaman.
There you go. But
Some of the dialogue definitely missed.
I felt like once, for me, I don't know why, the second half was super effective in at least being like, oh, okay, cool, there are stakes. So, people can die, and also, someone's chasing after you, and, we know that there's a big bad, and he's sort of revealing himself, and there's a culmination, and the culmination scene is pretty fucking good, even though I won't get into it, but it's good. There's some great cameos, too.
There's a lot of cool stuff. Also, the Alita, eyes and stuff. After a while, it just didn't bother me. I didn't think much of it.
You know what's weird is it actually bothered me less than the actual Aitza Gonzalez and Ed Skrein face tracking metal bodies. Some of that looked very weird, a little tiptoeing into Uncanny Valley territory. I'm like, what is this?
I thought for the most part it looked fine. In fact, I thought most of it looked above and beyond.
Next time we watch it, when you watch
Fine.
it again, watch Aitza Gonzalez's face during the fight scene. With
Okay.
Alita. It's a little weird, but it's the fight scene.
Yeah.
I was like, this is just dope. So I'm not gonna even look.
That's
at
what.
face.
Okay. The point is, I think we can wrap up this review overall by saying this tried to be a different. Its action tried to be a different type of action, just like Aquaman.
Yeah.
It had a few problems, just like Aquaman. So I will give this a 3.5 out of 5 as my score. And now that I'll adjust it, just like Aquaman.
Yeah. I will conclude by saying this went from being a movie that I had barely any interest in to being a movie I ended up seeing and enjoying just fine. I think it's a really, really good time. It's not much food for thought, but Jesus, is it food for the eyes?
All right.
I had
So
a real
what-
good time.
what do you give it?
Probably a 6.5.
Oh, how dare you.
That's 0.5 below you.
Just give it a 7.
It's not a 7.
This movie needs all the help it can get.
I know.
No,
Well,
I mean, it's
it's doing okay. Doing decent.
So I think overall this is a step in the right direction. So that will do it for our review of Alita: Battle Angel.
All right, now moving on to our 2 Deadly Class reviews. On the 5th episode of Deadly Class, the episode called Saudade, Marcus, Saya, Maria, Willie, and Billy, they make a drug-fueled trip to Las Vegas in order to kill Billy's father. So this was an episode you and I had talked about. I was really looking forward to it. It looked really good. I'm really sad we only have 8 minutes to talk about it because, my God.
Yeah, this episode blew me away, and since this is basically TV recap, we're going full spoilers.
Yes, a lot happens.
So they buy the acid from the hippies, and then Saya said something about Grateful Dead, and I just wanted to be like, fuck you, Grateful Dead's awesome. Yeah. Anyway, off topic.
The
Back to
acid.
this. Yeah.
Oh, man.
So, I mean, it's not exactly like a realistic trip.
No, but boy, does it make for a treat for the audience.
It doesn't matter. It's like, you know what? I'll take this non-real trip because it's fucking crazy.
Hey, open call for guest animators on Deadly Class Episode 5. We need some weird shit.
Yeah.
Man, that was cool.
This episode blew me away, like how all in they went on the special effects for what Marcus and all of them are seeing when they're freaking out on acid.
The colors, the concepts of the visuals. It's just so
I liked
cool.
when Marcus is freaking out under the car.
The digital mountains are coming.
Well, first
for me.
of all, he says, "Yeah, I bet these drugs are just, duds."
Yeah.
And they all look at him, dude. You just took 7 hits, and he's just donezo. He's under the car, and the mountains are turning into green grid-like things.
Yeah, it looks like he fucking hacked the game that is life. And
Yeah.
can see through the code of the Matrix.
Yeah. So he's just losing his shit.
Oh man! And
then the
they get to
episode-
Vegas.
And it doesn't stop. Everything
No.
just looks fucking crazy, basically,
All the lights.
almost the entire time. And this is gonna sound weird because we talk about how we like go back and forth on characters, on whether or not we like them or not. Mm-hmm. I'm a fan of Marcus when he's freaking out. This is my favorite kind of Marcus.
He just needs to party more.
Yeah.
We found the antidote.
He just needs to relax.
Right. Yeah, man. A lot happens in this. They get to the episode. They get to Vegas. All the lights are going. There's like a 5 or 6 minute montage of just weird animation shit, trippy psychedelics.
Especially when they're cruising down the strip.
Yeah.
That part's the best.
Oh man, there's like 3D animation, like weird. Like I don't even know. Like I don't even know how you'd be able to get your hands on
It was
this.
almost like an intro to a James Bond movie.
Yeah. It was fucking amazing.
A lot of really good graphic art going on.
But then we move on to they got to kill Billy's dad.
Yeah.
And you get a really like, it's not even a fight scene. Like, you know what I mean? Like
It's like a kill scene.
Yeah,
like
they
a
gotta-
Tarantino-esque killing scene.
right, and they got to kill Billy's dad, and it's fucked up because like they do kill him, but
But
it's
they're
an
all
accident.
on drogas while
Yeah.
it's happening. Yeah, that's the other thing
So they're
that
freaking
happens
out,
by
man.
accident. Yeah.
Yeah,
What was weird too is, and I think this is pretty intentional, you couldn't really tell what the hell was real or not.
yeah,
Because they're,
especially with the next scene.
well, because it starts off, it's one of those,
Oh, like in medias res.
yeah.
Like Marcus is in. He's been arrested by
Yeah.
the cops, and you're like, oh fuck, what did Marcus do? It's like The Hangover.
I almost thought it was going to be like Rashomon. I thought
Yeah.
they were going to go through each person's perspective. It didn't do that, but it was still cool nonetheless.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then you get a great twist at the end too.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to in a second, but
But anyway, so you think that he did or didn't kill the dad, but it's like, what the fuck? I don't know.
it's like, did it happen? And then Marcus
But-
encounters Chester in the elevator. We think.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, did he actually or did he not? Like, did that happen?
That was the only drawback I had, is I hate when bad guys in anything, and it's really common in comic books, which of course this show's based off of. I fucking hate that when it's like, I've got you dead to rights, but I need to see you suffer more. I'm pretty sure the bad guy would just fucking off him.
Right.
Like, that always annoys the shit out of me.
He's like, I want to go on Donahue and all that shit. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, fine.
It's like, no, dude, you would just kill him because you're mad and because he's right here in front of your goddamn face.
right. But that's not where the wackiness ends.
Oh no, the wackiness doesn't stop there. So, Master Lin, long story short, gets them out of initial trouble.
But
somehow.
then you realize
And I do love that Master Lin just gives him so much shit. He's just not having it. There's no blood on your hands. It's because you're high on drugs, man.
Well-
I love how he just gives it to him because he's just not happy with them right now.
and then you realize, am I wrong in saying you realize he wasn't there?
Oh,
He was imagining him, right?
I don't fucking know.
Because
See,
he looks away and he looks back and he's fucking gone. And like you still hear him talking, so I'm like,
then how
oh,
the hell
shit.
did he get out of the cops thing?
I think he just like they let him go, or I don't fucking know.
That's
I don't
what
know.
I'm saying.
It was- but like that, see, I saw that and I was like, oh shit, he's not real. So the cop was just like, get the fuck out of here, kid. Like,
Yeah.
fucking on drugs.
That's what I'm saying. This episode, a lot of that shit was really crazy. But then they all start to come down from their drug. Well, sort of.
Yeah, a little bit.
They're not as crazed by it anymore.
At least the ones who haven't taken 7 hits.
Yeah. So Maria takes notice of Marcus.
Marcus's state.
Yeah, and then this is one of those things where it's like, yeah, I remember you guys setting this up in the first episode. So they bring back that whole Marcus Maria thing. Oh, what's going on here? And then they're getting busy, but they're not quite having full coital relations yet.
Right,
They're in a state of semi-dress.
Yes.
And who busts in the door?
Chico.
But Chico.
been following him.
Chico's been following them, and god damn it, this is it. Of all the fights that Marcus and Chico have had or almost had, this is the one to end all of them.
Chico even says, like, no, dude, there's no, like, next time. He's like, no, you're about to sleep with my woman. Like, I'm going to kill you. One of us is going to have to die. I'm like, oh, shit. Is
so
someone going to die?
So they fight in a poor poor old guy's convenience store.
Yeah.
Then he gets killed because, Chico's not having it with anybody.
No.
So he beats the living shit out of him. Mm-hmm. But then they all go in the alley, and there's Willie.
Yeah.
So this standoff scene I thought was really good because to me this was the scene where things are finally about to really, really change.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no more like bullshit about like character development or whatever, which is important, but I'm saying there's no more time for that. Now is the time where shit's about to really change. Mm-hmm. So, of course, Willie sticks him up.
Man, I wanted him to blow him away. You wanted Willie to blow him away. Like, do it, Willie.
But we all know Willie's not going to do it because he's trying to put that lifestyle behind him. Yeah.
Billy gets stabbed in the stomach.
Yeah.
And, like, I guess is fine.
Yeah.
But who else?
Because they go to their weird mom,
yeah, that's right.
Saya,
doctor.
Who, I don't know what her deal is. Like, I thought she had a personality, and then
it's all over the place. I was less sure about her after this episode, and now, coming into this episode, I was less sure about Maria, and now I'm more sure about Maria.
I feel like, I guess if I were to pinpoint what Saya's personality, I guess at this point in the season, what they're trying to make her is like the voice of reason, sort of.
Sort of.
Yeah.
But
point is,
Chico gets it.
Yeah, but it's because Maria does it because she's finally had enough.
Maria finally kills him.
And you think, because she does her weird fan knives, katana style.
Oh, yeah.
And it kind of seems perfect because you thought, Marcus isn't going to do it because he's just going to keep getting his ass beat.
Right.
So Maria just decides, fuck it.
And you're like,
now we got some problems.
Yeah, I'm like, thank you, God.
Yeah, now we've got some real conflict that can hold, I guess can kind of extend through the rest of the season.
Not supposed to kill another student.
Right. So now we've got a serious problem on our hands.
But overall, it was a very, very concussive end to I thought it was a fantastic episode.
Yeah.
I would say
this was my favorite episode so far.
I think, it's pretty goddamn almost far and away for me, like the best one of the season.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, I just thought it was just like a crazy
so much happened.
It was just a psychedelic adventure.
Yeah.
Plus he had a pretty cool fight at the end.
Oh, yeah. It was the best of a lot of things.
Yeah. So I'd score this 4.5 out of 5.
I would have to I would have to push with you. I give this a 9 out of 10.
Aha.
Excellent episode.
All right. So it's agreed. That was a pretty good episode. So that's our review of episode 5 of Deadly Class. And now we move on to our review of Deadly Class episode 6. So we're left off with the explosive ending of the Vegas adventure that went awry. And then we're left with an episode that's kind of all over the place. Mm-hmm. This is just, it kind of felt like, all right, let's catch up on all the subplots at once, but not really focus on any, and not have this episode make sense.
Or really matter.
Or matter at all.
You start off and you do think it matters. You're like, oh shit, they're being questioned about Chico's death. And then at the end of the cold open, you realize like, oh, they don't care about Chico's death.
or it's just not an issue immediately. It's not as pressing.
It's not pressing.
Oh, it'll come back to get us later.
So I was like, okay.
So then there's the whole thing that now it's a thing. Marcus and Maria are dating, and
they've been dating for a month.
I'm just not buying it.
No.
It's just
maybe not for a month. I'm like, if this had been like a couple days, I'd have been like, all right, so this is like right after it, you know?
Yeah, they just get, I don't know. It's like you gotta show us like a little more of that relationship developing. Mm-hmm. You know, you had plenty of time to do it,
right,
in previous episodes, but I just wasn't buying it. That they're lovebirds now.
Yeah,
so you got that. And then, also Billy, he just says, "Oh, yeah, my family's free now. Yep, no problems there. He's dead." Just kind of seemed like it was a blown opportunity, to make something of it.
Right. And Maria's going through some emotional issues with guilt, dealing with Chico's death, and it's just like
that shit was so annoying.
Right.
And then she's all not taking her pills and acting crazy and whatnot.
Yeah, I feel like this episode had it already had the unfortunate task of following up the previous one.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help that it didn't try to follow up the previous one that much.
Yeah. Well, and then there's one point where it really lost me. You know, the part where Sai is confronting her. You need to stop being crazy after she wants to dance with Marcus so badly.
Yeah, there's a weird part. Like, you remember that part where, like, she goes up and tries to dance with Marcus and, like...
That's exactly what it was, yeah.
Well, no, but, and then she, like... I don't know what... Did I miss something? But, like, the part where Petra's, like... She turns to Marcus, she's like, I won't tell. I promise.
Well, because they're not supposed to be dating or whatever.
Oh, is that what that's for?
I guess. No, because that was actually one funny part was Billy just says, what was that about when she starts making out with Marcus?
Oh.
Like, he's trying to play it off like...
I guess I missed that. I didn't know
No.
they weren't supposed to date.
No, so Billy was trying to act oblivious.
Oh.
That's, yeah.
Billy's got a couple funny lines in this.
Yeah. There's a really super weak Willie plot line. It's only for a couple
with
minutes.
the
It's so
comic book
dumb at the
store.
comic book store.
Yeah.
Superman's a punk.
What are you talking about? You like Superman. You love Superman.
He's just moody for no reason.
He's just moody because he didn't kill Chico. And I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah,
like,
it's just...
this didn't need to be a fucking subplot.
That whole subplot's dumb. It's like, girl and guy in a room. They have to love each other. You know, according to 1940s movies rules.
I will say there were a couple lines in this that cracked me up. Like, Petra had one line that, I don't know, it just really caught me off guard and was hilarious. Where, like,
What's that?
They're sitting in the class with Miss DeLuca.
Yeah.
And she's like, I forgot what it is, but, like, Billy turns to her and, like, is talking about, like, oh, I no longer love you anymore, Petra. I'm sending this love profession note to somebody else. And she's like, okay, cool. And, like, I forgot what happens, but, like, she leaves the scene, but the way she does it, she just, like, yells out in class. She's like, I got my period. And, like, leaves. And I'm like, okay. This is a funny joke.
That was actually the only subplot I thought was funny.
The Petra Billy.
Yeah, because Billy.
Thing.
No, Billy's new thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'll do? I'll act like I don't care. Yeah. Hey, Petra. He's like trying to impress her. It's like, oh, that's okay. I don't give a shit anyway.
Yeah.
Or like whatever. It's just one of Billy's schemes.
It's weird because this is like
Billy again. This is a perfect encapsulation of Billy went from my least favorite character to probably
one of
this
the better
episode
ones.
My favorite.
Yeah, and I don't know. You know what my favorite character is in this episode?
Who's that?
It's not a regular.
Who's that?
It's the fucking what the hell is his name? I know the actor's name. His name is actually I don't know.
How do you
his
know
name.
the actor's name and not the character? I don't know any of these people.
Master Zane? He's the teacher with the tracksuit.
Yeah.
That fucking guy cracks me up. He comes in, he's like, what does he fucking say? He's like, yeah, with the punching and the kicking, it was pretty good. What the fuck is her name? The white supremacist chick?
Brandy Lynn or
Brandy
whatever.
Lynn, you failed. You're a piece of shit.
I thought that part was kind of like dumb though. It's just like,
well, I didn't like it because of what happened next. Where it's like, you failed. It's like, give Brandy Lynn an A because she was
Lady Gow or whatever
yeah, I'm
her
like,
name is.
Fuck her. She sucks.
No, but also even for her, even though she's that big of an asshole, that just didn't make sense in the context of the scene. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you know these people who could help make that like even the odds.
Right.
Nah, fuck that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make this harder for myself. That whole scene was just dumb, and also they haven't really done anything with her. She's completely inconsequential to the plot. It's like
you find out
make her do something.
She's the sister of Master Lynn, like half sister, I think.
No, I'm talking about Brandy Lynn too.
Oh, with Brandy Lynn, yeah.
Other than the third episode and a lot of the first episode, she just hasn't really mattered.
See that subplot
Victor's
pissed me
just
off.
kind of there.
Yeah, Victor's there
Just to get beat up by Miss DeLuca.
Yeah, this just kind of felt like I don't want to say filler, but kind of filler.
This was totally filler. This
Like, this
episode
was like
sucked.
This was like the stew meat episode where like, and by that I mean like at the supermarket you go and pick up stew meat, which is like it's kind of beef chuck, but it's also a lot of the cuts of the meat that Butcher doesn't want to fucking sell as its own thing.
Yeah.
It's like the fucking potpourri episode where it's like, there's a lot of shit in this.
But none of it mattered. Like, is this going to go anywhere? Is this changing? Why did they need to change Brandy Lynn's grade so badly? This is so dumb. What is Brandy Lynn trying to accomplish? What's she doing here?
I don't know. I feel like maybe they're setting up a villainy that with her, or like setting up antagonism within her character that's like, maybe makes for a more satisfying death when she's killed later on, but I don't know.
Okay,
I'd have to watch
it's
more.
like Chico. They established some problems directly.
Right.
So other, like, make some, I don't know, like, make her, like, other racist people, like, up to something. Like,
right.
show us her scheming something. Fuck, like, give us something. Like, I feel like she just doesn't count. And I feel like Victor's sort of become that. Like, what is he besides just another person there?
Nothing. Just pretty much a dick.
Yeah,
just a dick.
Again, I don't know. This episode to me was by far the weakest.
It's so weird because like they happen in rapid succession.
Yeah,
like
the best
week 5,
episode by
best
far.
episode. Week 6,
yeah,
not the best.
This was weak sauce.
But I'm still here. Like,
well,
I'm already halfway through this fucking show.
I know.
So
we're
like,
committed,
okay,
goddammit.
Let's do it. I'm not, especially because, like, I still have faith in the show. All of the episodes thus far have been, at the very least, not very good, but, like, whatever. Like, the others have been pretty good. You know, like, beyond 6, like, the others have been, at the very least, okay.
Decent, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I'm fine with it. But this was definitely not the best, and it was not good.
Well, see, there's one part that encapsulated how I felt about it. You're just jealous that me and Marcus are together. Oh, God, didn't see this coming a mile away.
Yeah.
Because Saya's trying to be the voice of reason. You need to stop being such a crazy, annoying bitch, Maria. Fuck you, Saya. You're a bitch. You're just jealous, bitch. Yeah, they said it just like that, by the way.
Yeah, man.
Because, like, Saya has feelings for Marcus, I guess, or whatever.
Possibly,
who knows?
probably.
Yeah, it's like, do something with these characters, all right? Like, or not even that, just continue shit you've already sort of started. God, make this fucking go somewhere.
Yeah. Well,
Lady, like, Gao, like, yeah. Now we finally learn what her fucking name is, and that she's Lynn's sister.
yeah, and she's not in that cool office anymore.
With the people
With
furniture.
the people furniture. I'm like, what the fuck? You got her regular furniture.
And she beats up tracksuit guy.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck you. He's funny. I like the way his class is taught, bitch.
But she's not a fan.
No, I'm like, fuck this. I'm like, now I want to see you and Brandy Lynn die.
Maybe they will.
Yeah, I hope so. And I hope
Maybe
Master
Brandy
Lynn...
Lynn and Lady Gao are having a tryst. Maybe that's why she wanted her grade changed.
You know what? I want to see, like, either, like, Saya and Maria kill Gao and Brandy Lynn, or I want to see, like, Master Lynn and Tracksuit Guy do it.
No, Petra's got to kill Brandy Lynn.
You know, we haven't seen Petra kill anybody yet.
No.
We've seen her blow dart someone.
Blow dart them and make them have a hallucinogenic freak out because of the drug dart.
Right.
Well, she headbutted her first.
Right, that's true. So we got a little bit out of her, but nah, she's got to prove herself.
Yeah, that's true. I think there's hope for her yet to kill Brandy Lynn. Mm-hmm. I think that'd be utmost satisfying.
Agreed.
Is Tracksuit Guy dead?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, no, he just got his ass beat.
He's just got a scarlet letter now.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Give me an A.
See, like, I thought that line was totally dumb.
Mm-hmm. It felt inconsistent with the tone.
Yeah. You know, if you're going to make it that goofy, go full out.
Like, some of it, like, you ever get that sense where it's like some of the tone of this is like Brandy Lynn's weapons, like, they're pom-poms with, like, fucking claws in them. And
yeah.
I'm like, it feels like a different show. You know, like, I don't know.
The fan I get, because, I mean, there's actual, Chinese weapons like that.
But, like, pom-poms. It's like, this feels like a weird, like
a campy James Bond weapon. No, I get you. It doesn't make sense, really. Yeah. All right, so this episode sucked. I was not a fan. Mm-hmm. Like, there's minor parts of it that I thought were all right, just because I've enjoyed the show thus far. I'm giving it 2 out of 5. I did not like this episode.
Yeah, I'd probably give it a 5 out of 10. I was not a big fan. It was mercifully not very long, which is, I guess, good. And there was bits of it that I actually thought were a lot funnier than the rest of the season.
Well, Billy had a great line.
Yeah.
Well, because he used an old-fashioned phrase.
What's that? Oh.
Yeah, because, like, you got to, like, because he's referring to the Vegas fiasco.
Yes.
He says, "You're the one who got us into this." Or it's like it's like
we're only in this mess because of your boner.
Yeah.
And he means boner in the context of meaning like a mistake.
Yeah.
But
then of course he's also kind of talking about how he tried to, or it's like having sex with Maria or whatever.
It's like classic double entendre, like who's on first type shit.
Yeah, and I guess he's a virgin and now he's not by the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Which is like, whatever.
Right.
Who cares?
It's not really it's whatever.
They didn't really like set that up like that mattered at all.
Mm-hmm. And so, overall, still in it, but this was definitely a lackluster follow-up to the one of the better episodes.
7's got some work cut out for it.
7 does, and so does the rest of the season.
That's true. So that'll do it. That's a 2 out of 5 from me and a 5 out of 10 from Robert. So that's pretty low grades, but hopefully 7 picks it up again. So that'll be our review for Deadly Class Episode 6. Thank you for listening to episode 41 of Bonus Features with Alex and Robert. I'm Alex.
And I'm Robert.
So you can find us at all our social media, self-titled. So just Google Bonus Features with Alex and Robert. You can find us on Facebook, SoundCloud, and of course, YouTube. So you got some suggestions, qualms, concerns, let us know in our various comment sections. Or if you've seen some of the movies we've seen, let us know what you think or whatever.
As always, though, we'll see you guys next time.